of this Hustler Fund, which you are ably leading and launching on Wednesday, Your Excellency. There will be an opportunity for startups and small businesses to large production and delivering 140,000 outlets in this country. So we celebrate you and we are very happy. So for those few remarks, Your Excellency, I want to assure my brother here, we will stand shoulder to shoulder, holding our hands in ensuring Kenyan small farmers and outgrowers are assisted to get markets. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let me also recognize the presence of the High Commissioner, Jane Marriott, from the United Kingdom, and to represent our foreign partners, development partners. I will invite now Ambassador Meg Whitman to make some few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary. Your Excellency, all protocols observed. I am just delighted to be back at Twiga Foods. One of the first places I came to as the new U.S. ambassador was Twiga, and I was struck by many of the things that have been said today. This is the power of technology and a technology platform to revolutionize supply chains, growers, farmers, and marketers and sellers. And so I want to congratulate Peter. He is one of the great entrepreneurs of Kenya, and you deserve a huge round of applause. You come to Twiga today and you say, well, this looked pretty easy. You know, built a big warehouse, aggregated a few sellers. I think very few people appreciate what entrepreneurs go through to work hard, to be persistent, and to make sure that they overcome every obstacle that is thrown in front of you. And you have done a remarkable job in that regard. I would just say, I think the possibilities for companies like Twiga in Kenya are amazing. And you can see that by the level of foreign direct investment in this company. There are American investors, European investors, venture capital investors, donor groups like USAID and DFC, the Development Finance Corporation. And that shows the power of a very, very good idea. So I think the prospects for Twiga and other companies like it in Kenya are amazing. The United States is happy to be helpful in any way we can. And I would just leave this audience with one thought. If there's a way, and I know the Cabinet Secretary Kura believes this so much, which is how do we make it a little bit easier to do business in Kenya? And if it's easy to do business, you will have more and more people want to do business. So I applaud all your efforts, the President's efforts to make it easier to do business, get licenses, get financial assistance, and then let every Kenyan pursue their dreams. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, today is about stories. Before I come to the story of Twiga, we have another story, the story of Tattoo City. And I want to applaud Stephen Jennings and the Tattoo City team. It is not easy. It is not easy, especially in this country, to close your ears to detractors. And there are many detractors. And this morning, Steve and I had a conversation and agreed that we are going to move until you tell us to stop. I know there's been a lot of, people to pull you back left and right, but I think your government and the work you've given us is to really promote foreign direct investment, promote domestic investment, and create an environment that is conducive for doing business. And there's one thing you've also taught us, to look at the positive side of people, not the negative side. If you want to see the negative side of people, you'll find so many negatives. But I think it's possible to focus on the positive things that are happening. So I want to assure Steve that we're going to sit together, as indeed the President has directed this morning, look at our framework for the special economic zones. We have got 13 privately licensed special economic zones in this country. And among them, very, very few have taken off. And Tattoo City is one of them. And I'm very proud of that. So we're going to work with Tattoo City to create a good benchmark for other private special economic zones, review the framework, and generally ensure that we are working together, because this is a shared responsibility between the private investors and ourselves. And I dare say that those people who are doing nothing should not fault those people who are trying to do something. So ours as a government is to support those people who are trying to do something, even if they're not perfect. I always believe that every sinner has a future and every angel has a past. So we will work together and fix those few issues and be able to move forward. Your Excellency, also we have got our 8 to 9 public sector special economic zones, which you have given us a lot of support. Last week we were together in South Korea. We witnessed what special economic zones can do. You've given us a lot of support and direction in terms of creating the management unit for our Dongokundus, our Naivashas, our Saganas, and on top of that also the flagship county industrial parks that we're going to develop. So we work together both from the private special economic zones and also the public economic zones. Let me now turn to the story of Twiga. I'm sure most people here are seeing the story of Twiga, the story of Peter Njonjo, and a guy who sold his matrimonial home. And I see it differently, Your Excellency. The story of Twiga is the story of my mother. My mother educated me by selling bananas, ripened bananas at Kawangware market. And she could go all over Uganda and Sagana and Kirinyaga in Kisii to look for bananas. She didn't have two things. She didn't have the 16 billion shillings that Peter Njonjo has managed to fundraise to build Twiga to what it is. And she didn't have the technology. Otherwise, she could have been a bigger entrepreneur than Peter Njonjo. And among her customers had to walk from satellite to buy bananas from Kawangware market. And I think my mother records, she remembers remotely seeing Madam Rachel Ruto buying bananas when you were staying in satellite, because there was no mobile phones and there was no technology. Otherwise, if my mother had those benefits, it could have been bigger. But this is a beauty of what is happening today with companies like Twiga, that they can be able to put together on a technology platform 120,000 retailers. What we've seen here, 20,000 square meter of aggregation space, which is now getting into industrial space, is nothing but truly remarkable. And that is why when you confirmed attendance to this event, I called Peter and I told Peter, if you don't find a way of aligning this Twiga of yours with our bottom-up agenda, I will be in trouble and I don't want to be fired. So we have to very quickly work up on a program, and today you are going to witness the signing of a tripartite agreement between my ministry, Simon Chelgui's ministry, and Twiga Foods. And under this framework, as Peter has really mentioned, is that because we are putting up aggregation centers, micro manufacturing parks in every county, we are going to give access to Twiga to be able to offtake from those centers. Today, Twiga is only utilizing 30% of their capacity. For me, that is unfortunate, truly unfortunate. But there's some work that we have to do also. Twiga have done their bit. It's now for us to do. Set up these industrial parks. I already have an offer of close to 150 acres of space, aggregation space from the county government of Nyeri. I am going to have discussion with my friend Sakaja to look at if I can do something with 120 acres in Nyeri. What about Jamhuri Showground? 600 acres that we use for only 1 week a year. We don't want a trade fair for 1 week. We want a trade fair every day that is bringing money and providing access to our market. And indeed, we can do it. So other than that, we discussed about the access to the Hustler Fund. Today, I'm told that Twiga gives 3 days credit to the retailers, and after that day, the retailers can be able to access credit at the rate of 1% per day. And using the Hustler Fund, that story will be converted from 365% per annum to 8% under the Hustler Fund. The biggest transformation that our country will ever get. And the bigger story is that the Hustler Fund has a space for everyone. Like we started M-Pesa like a joke. Today everybody is struggling to find their space within M-Pesa. I look forward, within only 1 year, everybody will be saying, I am Hustler Fund compliant, because they will have something to do the Hustler Fund. And what we are going to do with my brother Simon is to create a framework where everybody can be able to hook up into the Hustler Fund. Finally, Your Excellency, we have agreed with Peter that the aggregation centers which you are supporting us, the export aggregation centers in Uganda, in DRC, in South Africa, in Dubai, in the US, in South Korea, where we were last week, that we can be able to use our technology-driven distributors like Twiga, like Market Force and others to be able to help us in expanding our exports and creating a last mile infrastructure for being able to drive the Kenyan product. So all these things is because we are a government that is welcoming to investors, that is willing to work with private sector under the public-private partnership. I do believe that we were in South Korea last week and we saw an economy that is 18 times as big as our economy in terms of GDP. Yet some 50, 60 years ago, we were giving them money. Same population, around 50 million people, it is doable. And we are going to do. In doing this, we are going to have some division of labor. What you have shown us is to focus on work. We are focusing on work. There are some other Kenyans who left to also make some noise, and also they also our people. So we just have to divide this work. We'll keep the focus, we keep working, and others will have to do what they are good at. So with those few remarks, may I ask that we be upstanding as we welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to make the remarks.
Sorry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and please let's take our seats. Thank you very much. First, my good friend Peter Njonjo and your gracious wife Tina and your family. Cabinet Secretary is present. Our ambassadors and high commissioners, members of parliament, leaders, captains of industry. I am truly grateful and happy that this morning we are having a very interesting conversation around an idea that a few years ago was a very small idea. Congratulations, Peter, for being bold, for being courageous, and your good wife for encouraging you on. Today, we have a wonderful facility. You have put together a huge enterprise that connects farmers, traders, business people in one circuit, combining the efforts of ordinary people, ordinary farmers, the hardworking people, using technology to markets and to products. I am very happy to join you this morning to witness this fascinating enterprise of great promise that represents the transformational intersection of critical pillars of our plan. To begin with, Twiga Foods model is truly bottom-up, uniting literal mama mbogas with actors along the supply chain all the way to large corporate concerns in the quest for more incomes, greater efficiency, and increased productivity. I am pleased to note that at the heart of this visionary enterprise is the objective of establishing and maintaining an efficient retail network, which is a priority of our strategy for rapid socio-economic transformation and a focus of the Vision 2030. It is our intention to lead the transformation of our retail sector from the traditional shopfront-based system to a modern e-commerce system which supports a competitive trade-based economy. We recognize that food accounts for up to 54% of household expenditure in Kenya. and that agriculture has the highest employment multiplier effect. Due to the strong forward and backward linkages with other sectors, agricultural growth creates more jobs than any other industry. We also realize that agricultural productivity has key pillars of our transformational agenda, that is manufacturing and the micro and small enterprise, strongly feature actors in the agricultural value chain. I note that efficient aggregation, rapid transformation, and effective network of preservation and storage facilities are indispensable for sophisticated agro-industrial production and export manufacturing. Our plan also outlines strategies to optimize the country's heavy investment in ICT infrastructure, which has led to the laying of 6 submarine fiber optic cables and 9,000 kilometers of terrestrial fiber optic cable connectivity, connecting virtually all county headquarters. Mobile broadband coverage now stands at 96%. We have pledged to invest another Kenya shillings 40 billion in the digital superhighway to facilitate universal broadband connectivity across Kenya by constructing an additional 100,000 kilometers of mainly last-mile fiber optic networks across the country. The superhighway, and I had a robust conversation this morning about it, will catalyze the transformation of agriculture, MSME sectors, as well as health and fintech. In Twiga Group, we witness a pioneer in harnessing the convergence of transformative sectors through imaginative deployment of technology. Through it, Twiga receives produce from small-scale growers and converts it to a marketable and less perishable form. As a result, its outlet system is able to secure higher earnings, raising the incomes of growers and also reducing poverty and inequality. Using its mobile app, Soko Yetu, Twiga congregates over 140 hustlers, kiosk operators, shopkeepers, mama mbogas, and many other intermediaries across the country. Technology enables Twiga to process many orders, handling over 2 million kilograms daily and ensuring same day or next day delivery. This system, therefore, demonstrates the possibility of organizing farmers throughout the country, increasing produce volumes, and significantly upgrading the supply chains, both from the farm gate to industries and from industries to markets. This way, livelihoods across the smallholder agriculture and MSME sectors will improve with the increase of incomes at the bottom of our economic pyramid. As you know, this vision lies at the heart of our commitment, and we are determined to deliver on it. The capacity I have witnessed this morning here to handle over 6,000 tons of food and groceries, including more than 1 million bananas daily, demonstrate the feasibility of what ambitious promise can produce. Twiga is an exemplary enterprise and a pioneering investment. Its setting up in the special economic zone locates it in an advantageous position to access and satisfy local and regional markets throughout East Africa and Central Africa. I just want to inform Peter and all the other players in this space that, as the Minister Moses has said, last week I was in the DRC and we agreed with President Tshisekedi that they will provide space for us to set up warehouses in Lubumbashi, in Kinshasa, in Goma, and other 2 towns as part of the East Africa integration and part of the East Africa trading framework. We are encouraged by the possibilities demonstrated by Twiga's model, especially in the potential to complement government drought mitigation efforts by resolving supply chain and distribution constraints that exacerbate food shortages during drought. Our vision for agriculture-led growth entails establishing at least 1 produce consolidation and distribution center in every county. As Minister said, we will come here with our governors so that they can demonstrably be able to see what an aggregation center can do for a country and what it can do for a county. In turning each county to a produce aggregator, we desire to create opportunities for small, independent retailers to participate in local and international trade by facilitating better market access. You will be encouraged to understand that the market preferences we negotiated under the tripartite and Africa Continental Trade Area frameworks will confer a distinct competitive edge to the products you process over their imported equivalents. And again, we will be having a conversation today about the integration of our region, resolving conflict challenges in our region so that we can have the possibility of driving trade, especially intra-Africa trade, from the paltry 13-15% at the moment to 60-70%, because therein lies the greatest opportunity for our trade. I was very pleased when Peter, when he was showing us around, he said that initially they thought they were going to work on the export market, but they discovered that the local market has a greater opportunity, and they have been working on the local market. And slowly, once we cover the local market, then, Peter, you can have the opportunity to go for your dream, which is the export market, and we are going to work with you all the way. I also encourage you to venture and establish presence, as I have said, in EAC and eventually in our continent, because already we have set the parameters and we have created the trade infrastructure through the EAC framework, through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, through the tripartite agreement, both in EAC, in COMESA, and in SADC. The infrastructure to facilitate trade in our region is in place. It is now for investors like Peter and all the others to take advantage of the policy framework and the trade frameworks that exist to leverage on ensuring that you grow your enterprises and you support our farmers to be able to access better incomes as we ensure that our country, our continent is prosperous. I assure you of the government of Kenya's support. I have asked Mr. Kuria, our cabinet secretary, to grow Kenya's market share for manufactured goods in the region and in the continent, even as we focus in the global market. Our robust support for the significant improvement of food security ultimately complements the efforts of enterprises like Twiga, and the spectrum of interventions include provision of adequate network of storage facilities, the enhancement of commodity supply systems through warehouse receipting system, and the establishment of the Kenya Commodity Exchange in due time. improving financial inclusion at the bottom by introducing easily accessible and affordable credit through the Hustler Fund and other funds, as well as the intentional de-risking of agriculture to attract younger farmers, are some of the interventions we are going to propose in the medium term. Let me confirm to Peter and Twiga that the 300 million shillings you lend to your 140 suppliers and customers across Kenya, we are going to make that amount of money available to you so that they can borrow at lower interest rates and hopefully increase their earnings. That 300 million shillings, CS Chelugui, make sure that the customers of Twiga have access to the Hustler Fund, and instead of them borrowing at 1% per day, they should be able to borrow at 8% per year. Furthermore, we are committed to addressing unfavorable aspects of the regulatory environment, high cost of energy, and to rebooting the fertilizer supply chain. We shall engage the Council of Governors, as I have said, to rationalize the multiplicity of inter-county regulatory regimes, and that fertilizer prices and other commodities and other inputs make commercial sense to all our small-scale farmers. Additionally, I have directed the Ministry for Trade and Investment to facilitate your effective and meaningful participation under the Special Economic Zones Act so that we can eliminate the challenges that continue to exist in making it easy for enterprises to do business in our Special Economic Zone. Otherwise, they will have no meaning. So, Minister, make sure players in the industry, people like the Tatu City community, bring their ideas, bring their suggestions. We can carry them on board so that we can have a regulatory framework that favors growth of enterprise, both for local consumption of goods that are processed and for our international market as well. This will promote, as I have said, robust participation and effective representation in policy making to create a better and a much more conducive business environment. We are engaging holders of capital, like pensions and venture capital funds, with a view to putting together a framework for them to participate in emerging opportunities by investing in startups like Twiga in order to create jobs and propel Kenyan enterprises to the next level by innovation and thereby transforming our economy. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I reiterate my appreciation of Twiga's pioneering venture, which showcases the convergence of transformative interventions in a single enterprise, and salute its demonstrated ability to score highly in unlocking potential, to accelerate growth, create jobs, eradicate poverty, and strengthen our international trading position. There is substantial complementarity between government and private sector, both in strategy and underlying incentives. Constructive engagement and effective collaboration holds tremendous promise to overtake our challenges, resolve our social economic issues, and transform our country. I therefore look forward to engaging Twiga Group and other firms as they advance in pursuit of ambitious visions and pioneering undertakings in various sectors. I also wish you great success, Peter, family, Twiga, Tatu City, in your ventures. And in conclusion, to say that the confidence Tatu City have shown in our country by establishing this huge private facility. We commend you and your team, and we commend Peter and Twiga family for believing in our country and for putting their energy, their ideas and resources and all the farms, venture capital, USAID, and all the development partners that have come through to make this enterprise a reality. My congratulations, my appreciation on behalf of Twiga and on behalf of the people of Kenya for believing in us and for supporting enterprises that have Kenyan ownership. We look forward to doing this together. We are working with our farmers. We have some of the most hard-working farmers anywhere in the world. And progressively, through aggregation, through agro-processing, we will continue to provide facilities in our special economic zones, in our industrial parks around the country, and work with other development partners to make sure, and all other enterprises to make sure that we create the best possible opportunity for us to grow our country and to grow our economy. So I look forward to working with all the stakeholders in this sector. The government of Kenya will continue. We will continue to play our part. We will support our counties. I know, for example, we have agreed with the governor of Nairobi that we will be building 20 markets in Nairobi to support what Peter is doing, so that the people who are selling your products, whether they are bananas or they are vegetables or they are onions or they are tomatoes, do so in hygienic conditions so that we can continue the standards that you have set here into the marketplace. And we will do so with all the other counties as we work together towards re-engineering our country. Just to assure my young brother Sakaja of Nairobi that please keep the noise away from our children. You have our support. You have our support in ensuring that our city, I know I have discussed with you this before, and you have my support in ensuring that we reorganize the city, we make the city work for all the city residents, and ensure that the standards of the city of Nairobi are the standards of the capital city of Kenya. We will shortly, in fact by this Friday, I will be appointing a Nairobi Rivers Commission to sort out the filth in our rivers. If you look at our rivers in Nairobi, it is a sad story. And I want to assure the residents of Nairobi, as I do the rest of the country, that we will make Nairobi River what it should be. A place that people can enjoy, a place where enterprise can grow, and we will get rid of the sewage, and we will get rid of all the other affluence and effluents that are going into the city of our city rivers. And thank you very much, Governor Sakaja, for working with my deputy to ensure that we agree with all the stakeholders to set up the the Nairobi Rivers Commission so that we can sort out our rivers in the city. And in conclusion, just to say that we are consolidating our country. We are reorganizing our country. I want to tell our brothers in the opposition to work with us, to criticize whatever they want to criticize, but let's keep the country peaceful. That's all we are asking. we want everybody to do their job, right? We want to do our job, and we wish well the opposition in doing their job, but they should do it peacefully. I do not think organizing demonstrations and getting Kenyans to do the things they want Kenyans to do is part of holding any government to account. They are free to criticize what we are doing. That's okay with us, and we appreciate, but I want to encourage them not to drive Kenyans against one another. Street demonstrations, street fights should not be part of the script of any responsible opposition, unless they want to be a dictatorial opposition, which I don't think that's where they want to go, because that works for nobody. It doesn't even work for them. So I want to say thank you very much. I look forward to working with all of you, and I wish you well. God bless you.
Your Excellency, I'm very excited. When you gave us this assignment to organize the bottom and move to the big industry, I was a bit worried when we aggregate businesses and farmers at the bottom or at